Hello, hello. Welcome to today's session of Selling the Couch. I hope you are doing well and having an incredible day. So, you have likely heard, especially if you are thinking about creating an online course or you already have one out in the world, there's this phrase that a lot of folks you'll hear, which is, if you make really good content for your online course, they'll come. But the reality is that is rarely true in practice. I have seen so many talented colleagues create powerful, research backed, very meaningful courses, but they almost get no traction or very little traction. I've had the incredible privilege of being a course creator since 2015 and a teacher since 2022, helping our colleagues create and launch their online courses as well as grow their online courses. And I have learned a very simple thing, which is content is one part of the equation. Completion, clarity, and connection are what builds a real course business. And that's what we're going to explore today. More specifically, why most online courses fail, even if the content inside those online courses are really good. The 3 points that I want to share just here at the top is: 1, the most important video isn't what you think. Second, most course creators spend about 80% of their energy in the wrong place. 3, you're competing with everything and not just with other online courses or other courses. And we also have a bonus tip for you in order to make sure that your courses do get sold. So let's jump right in. So the number one point that I wanted to share is the most important video isn't what you think. So for most of us, when we create our online course, and I know this is true for me, and honestly, I have to check myself and I fall into this trap, which is I try to over optimize for the actual videos within the online course, which of course is very important. But here's the reality: the most important video isn't actually the content that's within our online course. The most important video is the one right after they purchase. See, most of us, again, we obsess over these teaching modules, but that first impression video, the short welcome message, is actually the most important. And if you even look at your analytics, it's the one that you will notice is likely the most viewed video in your entire online course category. And if you don't have a welcome video, I definitely recommend and suggest that you create one. Here is an example of just what I would say. I would say, hey, it's Melvin. First of all, thank you. I know how precious trust is in this online space. You choosing to invest your hard earned time and your hard earned money means so much to me. We have designed this course to be valuable and respectable to you and to your time. And so we've made these very short and easy. But if there is something that we have not seen, right? Or I even say something like, if anything feels unclear, please email me. I'm definitely not an expert. I am definitely learning alongside of you. So if something I could have explained something a little bit better, please don't hesitate to email me. And just a little thing like that, what I have found is, especially in this online age, we're increasingly focused on things like scale and things like that, which is, of course, important, right? Creating one piece of content, it's serving many, many people at one time. But the thing that we forget is, at the end of the day, it's a lot of one to one connections with people that ultimately makes the success of our online course. Having a first impression video or a welcome video, it does a few things. One is reinforces the emotional connection that led to this sale, right? So typically, someone who is purchasing your online course feels a human connection to you. They know that, they probably had multiple options in order to learn about that topic, but they chose you for that reason. The other reason a video is beneficial is it calms refund fears by reinforcing that relational trust, not content overwhelm. And then the third reason is it invites the student to reach out. So it keeps that human connection open. So even if they go through the video and there's like certain parts where they may watch a video and they're like, oh, that wasn't very clear about like, what were you trying to say there? They know that they can reach out to me and I will actually usually create like a Loom or a Tele video just to kind of explain things to them if something is missing. Now, if keep seeing that over and over again, it's definitely an indicator for me to actually change up or add a video or subtract a video or re-record a video in order to make that a little bit more easy to understand. The second point is most course creators spend 80% of the energy in the wrong place. This one is really hard to hear, particularly because we put our heart and soul into our online courses. There's definitely vulnerability that's involved. I think about my podcasting course. I had all of these fears of like, who am I to be teaching podcasting? I created a podcasting course about 6 months into my podcasting journey, and and I had all sorts of imposter things, and I kept thinking, wow, there's so many others who've been here so much longer than me, and that to be honest, like overwhelmed me, and so what that actually motivated me to do is I built slides. I obsessed over the course platform that we should pick, and I tried to polish every module, and what I came to realize is I was optimizing for the wrong thing. A mentor once told me it's not 80% content, 20% promotion. It's the other way around. In other words, if you don't actually share and promote your course, no one gets the chance to benefit from it.
You're
So
a solo practitioner in private practice. This part is for you. You're probably doing it all from the therapy side to the admin to the marketing and maybe your private pay, which means that referrals are everything. And we know as clinicians, one slow month or one slow week, and suddenly your income, your peace, even your confidence starts to wobble a little bit. I get it. I have built my business during nap times and lunch breaks. And if I ever went back into private practice, to be honest, I would build it differently. I'd still want that freedom, but not the kind that leaves you checking my schedule at 10 p.m. to see if clients are showing up. I'd want a system, rhythm, support. That is why I would seriously consider Alma. Alma helps you accept insurance with ease. They actually take care of all the paperwork on the insurance site, so you're continuously getting paid every other week. They include an EHR as well, so and also let you connect with a network of other colleagues who get it because the isolation that we often feel building these businesses is such a real thing. And for Selling the Couch listeners, you get 2 months of Alma absolutely free. You can just go over to sellingthecouch.com/Alma to check it out.
this is what I
This
would
might
do instead. One is design simple evergreen funnels that sell your online course directly through your website. By and large, like we have rarely had somebody buy our online course without providing some sort of high value on the front end. So, in specific, what I'm saying is I love usually doing free webinars or free live streams. I love long form how to guides. I love email courses. Those are the three things that I tend to focus the most on. And usually it's those high value assets that sell the online course on the at the end of that product. So for example, when we had our podcasting course, we often had a free podcasting webinar and we still have that webinar, which you can check out at sellingthecouch.com/podcasting workshop. But at the end of that webinar is then I share an invitation to join the Healthcasters course. That's only after about 90 minutes of like high value teaching and quality teaching. Because for me, I think my perspective, and I know that all of us will resonate with this, which is I just believe in being helpful and valuable. My whole perspective is even if somebody's going to take the time to sign up for our free workshop, even if they don't sign up for our online course, I want them to walk away from that workshop being like, man, that was not a waste of time for me. The other thing I would just to share is you know, I think a lot about in terms of the marketing, a lot of colleagues will ask me like, Mel, like I'm interested in, I want to be on social media because I know it's like important to growth and all these things, but how do I figure out
which one do I focus on? I think the biggest thing I think about is building a library that works in your sleep. So that's particularly why I lean so heavily into audio podcasting because I'm essentially creating a library of content. And more recently, we've, focused so much on YouTube. And that's because essentially I'm not just creating one-off videos, I'm actually creating playlists and all sorts of content that can get found months and years later. And the third thing I would just share is you're competing with everything, not just other courses. So here's the thing, and I feel like a fool for saying this, but I think when I launched my podcasting course, since then we've created 3 other courses, and with every one of them, there's a part of me, I'm like, "Man, people are gonna, I can't wait till people check this out, and people are gonna have their undivided attention and in order to be able to check out my online course." But here's the reality, right? Your course isn't competing with just other courses. It's competing with a kid that needs you at a certain time of the day, a full clinical schedule, TikTok scrolls, and Instagram, a Netflix tab that is one click away. So here's the danger. You overteach, you overstuff, you assume more is better. But what your student actually needs with your online course is the clearest path from A to B. Your job is not to overwhelmed with knowledge. Your job is to help them cross that bridge. And what I mean by this is I see so many of our colleagues because many of us as clinicians, we're going to be creating niche online courses, usually based on a subsect of a niche that we serve in our clinical work. And because of that, we have specialized expertise in something, and then there's this other side, which many clinicians, including me, struggle with, which is we worry if, charging 500 or 750 or $1,000 for an online course, who is going to buy this? Like, do we have enough credibility? And so then the natural tendency then is instead of thinking what's the simplest path to get from A to B, the simplest path then becomes let me try to stuff this with as much content as possible so that I can relieve that internal anxiety that my course might not be good enough. And in terms of related to this, how in the world do you keep the actual course content organized? I wanted to share a tool that we teach inside of our Haven community, which is our new community for therapists going from clinical to online income with a specific emphasis on online courses, podcasting, YouTube, speaking, and writing. And instead of guessing what to cut or keep with regard to the lessons and the modules, we use a Miro board. So this is at miro.com, miro.com. And what this is essentially a digital board, a digital post-it board. And you can basically map every module and lesson. And what I would do is from there, bring in 2 or 3 trusted advisors. So one of them should be like an ideal course student. Two of them can be the second person can be also an ideal course student, or it could be someone that is familiar with that niche that could give you some real feedback. And ask these folks what's essential, what's fluff. Have them look at your Miro board and then ruthlessly cut or simplify it. This keeps you human centered while honoring their bandwidth. I have a feeling, especially as AI continues to permeate so much knowledge and content creation, that the courses that are simple but elegant will do the best. Bonus tip before we wrap up is use gentle gamification to keep them going. So therapists, uh, you know, when we are creating courses as clinicians, we're not like flashing lights and confetti type of people, but we do need to provide nudges that support our learners. So, for example, within your online course, and many of these online course platforms now have built-in gamification, which is pretty amazing. So, one really easy one is completion badges. So, this is basically a small badge or an email that is auto created when a module is done. It signals progress, which equals dopamine equals momentum.
The second thing is private leaderboards or progress notes. When you log into the course and you've gone through certain videos, you can be like, it'll say, like, you're ahead of 50% of learners, you're ahead of 70% of learners, just one more, or it could be just one lesson left this week. These sort of little motivation things, again, many of these are built into course platforms now. It reduces shame, it builds rhythm, it encourages micro wins without that needed stress. And the biggest things, and again, many of these course platforms have these built in. We use Kartra for our online courses and for our Haven community. And if you actually go through sellingthecouch.com/Kartra, there's a specific unique discount code there for Selling the Couch listeners. Just to be transparent, that's an affiliate link. So, just to wrap up, the best courses aren't the deepest, they're the clearest, the most human, and the most doable. They meet the learner where they are and walk with them across that bridge. Now, if you are a clinician that already has an online course out there, or if you're already thinking like, Mel, I really want to get an online course out there, we have a free workshop that helps you think about your current or future online course in light of so many things with AI. It's called AI Proofing Your Online Course, and it's completely free to sign up. You can head over to sellingthecouch.com/AI webinar, sellingthecouch.com/AI webinar. Have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.